Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Oh, hello there. That's a work in progress called Tombolo Pine. Wrote it last summer, still trying to work it out. I saw a video with this guy I follow on the tube of views called Rick Beato. He's a music guy. He's got a really interesting story, interesting podcast as well. He has a series called What Makes This Song Great, for example, and where he goes and dissects popular, classic hits, classic tunes, mostly rock and pop and so forth like that. He's got another one. He's got just all sorts of musical theory sort of stuff. Anyway, he managed to land Sting for an interview, and it wasn't one of those fawning. I guess Sting has a new album coming out, so it wasn't one of those fawning sort of variety show, entertainment show interviews where he's just asking about his personal life. But Rick dove right into the music theory aspect of it and the songwriting component. And the funny thing is that, or the interesting thing is that Sting was saying, today a lot of music apparently is just verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, or just verse, 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 verse. There's just not a lot of modulation in it. It's got some sound, but not really a structure. And so Sting was mentioning the structure would be an introduction, verse, chorus, and then he said key change, which is interesting because that's usually where the bridge would go, but a key change can function as a bridge. And then coda, which is the outro, the outro, or however you like to say it. And so I think I'm going to apply some of those principles or that roadmap to finish a few of these songs. Someone's online here. I think that's Tom Kimbrell. Shouldn't you be climbing up some cliff face at this moment? Well, thanks for watching it. Maybe you are. You're like, you have your chalk bag, and then you have your ropes, of course, your helmet, and maybe a selfie stick where you're watching this program. Thanks, Tom. Hope all's well with you. And so what was I going to say? That was mentioning, so that was an interesting approach to songwriting. But then I was listening to this other video by this guy named Marcus. Kitty cat, qu'est-ce qu'il y a, hein? Viens. Viens ici. Ferme-le. Cat wants to get into a room that's locked. So I was Marcus Aubry. This is this guy I haven't been following him, but I've been aware of him for a long time. He actually started a supplement company with Joe Rogan. That's how I first found out about him. And man, you're determined, aren't you? He's trying to open the door with his claws. Oh, man, this is good timing. So he has been having some interesting interviews. The last one I listened to was about adverse effects, I think is the proper term. And this one was about mass formation. And this is a term that you may have heard of, but it's sort of synonymous in my view. I haven't gotten through the whole video, it's about an hour long, but it's really quite interesting. I got in. Good job, kitty cat. So it's sort of synonymous with mass hysteria or so forth. So formation to me in French, formation means learning something. So like if I were to learn like Excel, I'd say oui, je suis en train de faire une formation sur le Excel. So that just means learning, and this is mass formation. And for this to take place, there has to exist three existing conditions that I remember. They said four, but I don't remember them mentioning the fourth. And the first is like isolation. So you know how it is in society. There's a lot of people who are just, we're all isolated. We're all in front of our screens and communicating in that way, which is not the same as being in person. It's just, and also when you're on your device, your personality is different. Like speaking a different language, you have a different personality. And in addition to this isolation, a lack of meaning, because as you know, a lot of people have just sort of these atomic jobs where they just go in, go through the motions, get nothing out of it, just clock in their time, go home, and they get a paycheck, but that's just about it. No fulfillment of any sort. And then a generalized sense of anxiety, a free-floating anxiety is how they described it. And I'm not really sure, I've been anxious at times, but I'm not really sure what to suffer from anxiety means. But apparently there's this diffuse generalized anxiety. And so when you have these three conditions, isolation, lack of meaning, or desperation, and anxiety, that is a population that is ripe for mass formation. Now, if there is an object of anxiety occurs or arises, and then a strategy is proposed, this will create a social bond, a sense of all being in it together to achieve a certain objective. And this, is sort of a salve for the isolation, lack of meaning, and anxiety. So everyone can get together and feel like they're all in it together, going against, using a strategy to deal with, face, or solve an object of anxiety. And one example of this is people report during World War II, everyone would get down into the tube, the London Tube, mind the gap, to avoid bombing. And they reported that was some of the happiest times of their lives when they're all together doing this. And then there's another example is the witch hunts of the, 16th, 17th century. And so everyone believes that they are hunting witches, and so that gives everyone a sense of meaning and camaraderie. And unfortunately, apparently, in certain places, the witch hunts were so intense that they ran out of, childbearing women, or women of childbearing age. So that kind of backfired. And so, when you are in this state of mass formation, the people are more susceptible to clinging to any narrative, regardless of how absurd it is. And I'm sure you can think of plenty of examples of absurdity, which seems to be do again. So anyway, when this happens, it's created with a sense of hypnotism. And the hypnotism is deployed with words. And so in totalitarian nations, like the naughty Germans of the 1930s and the naughty Italians of the same era, the mouthpieces would go, the politicians or their mouthpieces would go on and give addresses for a certain amount of time, and this is broadcast to everyone, and so then it creates a sense of hypnosis on the people. And there's interesting split. So like 30% of the people, drink it all down. They drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak. And 40% of the people just go along to get along, because the repercussions of speaking your mind or having an individual thought is just too much. And then there's the 30% at the other end, which can see things more clearly and don't think that what's going on is necessarily a good thing. Now the problem is we're at a point right now where the people who are not hypnotized and who are not just going along to get along need to speak out, need to unite and speak out, because if they don't, this is going to, in the examples, it leads to atrocities, and they are indiscriminate, and we can see that. Speaking of that, and so what happens is the 30% are obligated to speak their mind, or else shit is really going to hit the fan. So, speaking of that, maybe you've seen in Germany, now they've got the cops have got these 2-meter-long sticks, and they are going to. I saw a video of them. They're at like a Christmas market, it looked like, or something like that, and they're taking these sticks and making sure that everyone's spaced out by 2 meters. It's absolute madness. It reminds me of some of those Karen videos from the very beginning, where people would run around with a huge loop around them to make sure that people weren't 6 feet or 2 meters in their personal space. And so anyway, that's going on in Germany. What's going on in Australia. Austria, Italy are beginning to starve out segregate and starve out certain portions of their population. And it's all due to this mass formation. You would think that people would come to their senses because of all of the incongruities, but it's really a state of hypnosis, and the people who can see things. kill your fucking television. Don't look at corporate media. That will help. That's a good first step, okay? And you know, it's up to us to save the society, quite literally, because even, you know, when the segregated are being targeted, it doesn't stop there, because then the people who are hypnotized, they start devouring themselves, and we can see that certain examples today. Well, I won't get into that right now, because what I want to talk to you about is mass formatting you to go Christmas shopping on my lovely web store, aka the Electric Paul Teespring shop. And here it is right here. Oh no, that's not it. That's the Naughty Germans. Today's Naughty Germans. It's hard to see, but there's a, yeah, you can't really see it on here, but here they are. They're wearing their diapers outside like good Germans, just doing their job, even though there's no evidence nor proof, not to mention proof, whatever, that you know what does its thing in plain air. But anyway, so that's what's going on over in Alabama, as I like to say. But that's not what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you was the wonderful, oh no, wait. That's my website. Okay. Website. The Electric Paul Teespring store. Don't know if you can see this. Looks kind of cool with the filter. Oh yeah, I was trying to do a different filter where you can put an image in the background. If anyone knows how to do that, please let me know. And on the Electric Paul website, we've got mugs, posters, tank tops, t-shirts, Frederick Douglass, leggings, pillows, flowy tank tops, but this is the one I wanted to show you today. This is called S10. This is a homage to Egon Schiele, expressionist artist, your favorite expressionist artist. And today only, I'm offering a giveaway. So the first person who can write, this comes in 7 styles and a multitude of sizes. So there are the different styles. So the first person who can send me a message stating their desired size, style, and shipping address, I'll send this out to you for free. The only condition being is that you're going to have to send me an image of yourself modeling this handsome attire. And if you fail that, I will send your local dog park Karen a German police 2-meter stick. Ciao for now. Sic semper tyrannis.